Okay, class, this video is to show you the steps on this architectural scale exercises, so you can practice reading the scale. If you haven't watched the videos on chapter 1, which I go over how to read the scale, please watch those first. But I added this exercises also for your chapter 1. So you have your chapter 1 review questions, chapter 1 problems, and I added the architectural scale exercises. There are 2 PDF files here with some steps of what to do, but I'm doing this video just to clarify on that. So first thing you need to do is to download the PDFs and that I have attached and print them. And when you print them, make sure they are to scale or do not change the scale. So basically what you need to do is open them, right? So it's gonna open, and again, they're PDF files. Whenever you're gonna print them, make sure you're gonna go to, you can go right click and print. And on the printer, I'm gonna have a different printer. You might have a different printer at home, or if you're doing it here in school, or wherever you wanna print. Just make sure that when you print, do not fit to page. Leave it as is, or make sure that it's 100% the scale, or the scale of the print on the sheet. So for example, if I put here fit to page, this is gonna shrink and it's not gonna work for me. So make sure this is deselected. And not only that, but what I did, again, your settings might be different. Just make sure that you're not changing the scale of the drawing on the sheet of paper. So if I go to more settings here, see, here is where I can see it's 100%. So make sure you check on that. I'm pretty sure all the printers have, because if it's not 100%, then your print or your drawing, it's smaller on the sheet and it's not gonna work. So make sure you have it, for example, 100%. That way, this PDF file that I created, I put it to an actual scale. So when you measure with your scale, the architectural scale, you should be able to get these dimensions that are missing. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna find these dimensions that are missing here. See the extension lines, and we discussed this on the video. Make sure you watch that. And then you have the dimension line, and then you have the architectural ticks showing from where to where you're measuring. And then we have that line right there is where the number or the dimension should go. But right now, this is what you're gonna be looking for. What's the distance from this point to that point, or from the edge of the wall to the window, middle of the window, from the middle to the window, to the interior wall, from the interior wall to the middle of the window, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna do this exercise, okay? So first thing is to download it, or open it, print it, making sure that you don't change the scale of the drawing on the sheet of paper. And by the way, the sheet of paper, it's letter size. Make sure you select letter size, all right? So now what I'm gonna, and I apologize if the screen or the video moves a lot. I'm using my cell phone because I have the software that I need. It's still on its way. So what I did, I already made my print. Here it is, sheet of paper. And like I said, what we need to do is find the dimensions that they're missing. For example, here we need to find that dimension, that dimension, that dimension, this dimension from this point to that point, and all of them. Okay, remember, dimension, it's made out of the extension lines. Extend, and let me just grab something here. There you go. Remember that in actual dimension, it's 2 lines extending from any given object. Okay, let's say this is the object right there. So they extend from the edge. These are extension lines, and then the one that goes across, this is called a dimension line. And then whatever separates them, in our case we're going to use architectural ticks, it's what tells you from where to where you're measuring. Okay, so the extension lines extend from the object, dimension lines where you're going to have the number, and the ticks, in this case, or it could be an arrow, it could be a dot, whichever, it's telling you from where to where you're measuring. In this case, we have a bunch of dimensions here. So you have this house has dimensions, but what I did, I took away the actual number, if you notice. So the exercise here, or what you need to do, is to find those dimensions. What's the distance from here to here? What's the distance from here to here? From there to there, and keep on going. Okay, so you need to find me all those dimensions all around. Now to do that, this drawing that you have in front of you, it is plotted to scale, to a scale. But I didn't give you that, so you need to find the scale first. Well, I might give it to you in this video, but you need to find the scale first. So to find the scale, just keep in mind this is a house, an actual house that is scaled down to fit the sheet of paper. But in reality, these are actual spaces, actual real spaces that people are gonna use, which have real dimensions. In other words, here our door, it's like less than half an inch, but in reality, a door is that big, about 3 feet. So we're getting this right here in real life. We're shrinking it down to fit on a sheet of paper to be, and this is what is represented. Okay, so which means that you have to have the scale. So this drawing is to scale. That's why I want you to print it 100%, because if you don't, it's going to be off scale. So first thing you need to do before you start finding the numbers or the dimensions is to figure out what scale is this drawing on. Okay, if you see some plans, you're going to see something like this. For example, you're going to have the drawing number, and then you're going to have the drawing title. And sorry if it moves, I'm trying to do this with recording one hand and writing with the other. It says floor plan, and then here at the bottom says scale, and then usually you have something equals 1 foot 0 inches, and this is what we're missing right now. What scale? This is what you have to figure out. What scale is this drawing on? Now for this, you need to look what in the house, what part of the house has an actual dimension and real life dimension that I know. All right, so I'm going to give you 2 hints. Usually the tubs, they measure 5 feet from there to there, and another actual dimension that you might find, and you can go measure at your house if you want to, are your base cabinets from the wall. They go out 2 feet, or your top cabinets, which are represented here. They should be hidden, but the computer didn't print them hidden. From the wall to here, it should be 1 foot. Okay, so from here, base cabinets from the wall to the edge of the base cabinet is 2 feet, or you can look for the edge of the wall to the hidden line. This should be hidden line, which represents the top cabinets. It's 1 foot. So we can use that information and then try to find a scale that gives me that as 1 foot or 2 feet or 5 feet. So what you need to do, if you watch the video, you remember. If you haven't watched it again, you need to watch that first. That each scale on your architectural scale, this is a full scale. There you go. You have 3/32 inches, feet, and here using the top numbers because they're going up. If we go to the right to the left, and this is the 3/16 scale, 0, inches, and feet, and you're using the bottom numbers. Okay, so we need to find which scale of these that we have there. Here we have 3/8 and 1.5. Here we have 3 3/4. It's off scale, out of focus. This one is a inch and 1/4. I'm sorry, and this one is 1/8 and 1.5, and so on and so forth. So we need to find which of these scales gives me, or it's perfectly as either 2 feet or 1 foot. So this video is getting too long, so I'm going to actually give it to you. It's well, let's try. Let's see. 3/32. Let's see if 3/32 gives us the dimension that we want. So I'm going to measure, put it right at 0. And if you look at it, if I focus, it's hard to focus. There we go. So if you look at it from 0 to that edge is not. See, it's more than 1 foot. If you look there, it's 1 foot and something. So that's not right. So it's not 3/32. Let's try 3/16. So 3/16, I'm going to put it here at 0. All right, right there. And in this scale, a foot is right here. So it is not. It should be a foot from here to here. So it's not 3/16. So I'm going to use, let's try an eighth. All right. And now if you look closely, an eighth does work. There you go. See? We're using the top numbers. So from here to here, it's a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, and then you see the 4 feet. We're using the top numbers. So this drawing is drawn at an eighth scale, because remember, we always start from 0. This is 1 foot, and that's in real life. This is a foot. Or if you want to use this one over here of 2 feet, if you put it on 0, there you go, 2 feet. I moved a little bit. Okay, see, from there to there is 2 feet. 0, 1, 2, 3, and then you do see the 4. So once you find the scale, now you can go and start measuring and give me the dimensions. So now here, you want to know what's that right there. You're gonna come, set up 0. Remember, if you haven't watched the video, watch that first. The scales, how to read them. So this dimension, okay, I'm gonna put it right there. And how many feet? Well, it gets, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's less than 7. Okay. So we need to go to 6. So I'm gonna shift it and put this one at 6, right there. 6, because we know it's 6 feet, right? Because it's less than 7, so it's 6 something. So it's 6 feet, and then we count the inches starting from 0, which is, these go by 2s. Remember, you always want to get 12 from the inch part. And again, if you haven't watched the video, we need to do so. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then when you get to this one, it's 12. So that means that this dimension right here, it's 6 feet and 10 inches. So what you're gonna do is put here 6 feet 10 inches, like that, and then continue with all of them. All right. So again, if you haven't watched the scales video, you need to watch that first. If not, you're gonna be lost. I show you how to read with how to use a scale, and then try to, well, not try, you have to do this assignment. Once you fill it in, you do all of them. Then you need to, in the instructions are there on Blackboard, you need to either take a picture of everything or scan it, okay? And then you're gonna attach me that file and send it back here, okay? So that's your assignment. Now you have 2. Notice you have 2 assignments here. You have exercise 2, which is the one I just showed you, and exercise 3. And this one is a commercial building. All right, do the same steps. Now the scale on this one, it is different. I'll let you know, it is different. So maybe on this one, what you can do, I'll just let you know, you can find the scale. It's not 1/8. I'll just let you know that you can use this cabinet right here from the edge of that wall. Let me try to zoom it in. There you go. From that right there, the edge of the wall, to this is the base cabinet, okay? It's like a lounge. So from here to here is 2 feet. Okay, so use that. From here to here is 2 feet. Print it out 100% on a size sheet, which is 8.5 by 11, and then make sure you find the scale that gives you from this point to that point 2 feet. Once you find the scale, do the same thing. Start finding all the dimensions that you have that you need, and then once you find them, then you can scan it, take a picture, and submit it. Okay. If you have any questions, please email me, and I'll try to help you. All right.